Hi guys, so this is my MEPS experience. So I went to MEPS on June 27th, which was a Thursday. So the Wednesday before we drove up there. It's like a 3.5 hour drive, and I went to the San Jose MEPS, San Jose, California, and it was like a 3.5 hour drive. And we got there, we dropped off everyone who was like shipping out the next day and who didn't have to take like the verification test at the hotel. And then they took us to like the actual MEPS facility, and we like checked in and all that. We went to the liaison, they had name tags, and then I went to go check in to take my verification test. I ended up taking the entire ASVAB. Super annoying, but I took it, whatever. And then after that, we went back to the hotel. On the way back to the hotel, I was like with like 3 guys and like this one girl. Me and this one girl like became like instant friends, and it's like, you know, and we all 5 of us were like talking like, oh, like what branch, what job, when do you want to leave, like all that, like all of that stuff. And we got back to the hotel, we checked in like the room, not the front desk, and they gave us our meal ticket, our room cards. Me and the girl ended up being roommates. So we went up to our room, we kind of got settled, and went back down. We had dinner, and then we like hung out in like the room, played games, whatever, and like we were like nervous and like all of that stuff, and then we went to bed. So when we went to bed, we kind of like, we set an alarm for 3:50. I got up, she was still sleeping, she slept through like 3 of her alarms, and I kind of like woke her up like, hey, like we gotta go. And so like, so then I woke her up and everything, and then we like got downstairs like 4:40, 4:50, and then they let us eat at like 5, and then like around like 5:30 they had us line up. There was about 40 of us, 9 were female. That becomes important later. And then they take us all to MEPS. So we get to MEPS, and they have like you line up outside the facility, and they let you go 5 by 5 by 5, and the ones shipping out go first. So they go in, they go first because they go through like a quick little they go through medical like really fast, like just to like make sure everything's good to go. So then once you get in there, you're like, you go to your liaison first, you get your name tag, they do a little bit of paperwork, they kind of started you off, then they sent you to go wait in the line in the front. So you go do that, and then as you're waiting in that line, you know, it's a lot of line waiting. So then they check you in at the front, then they send you to the medical line. So then you're there with your paperwork, and then you hand medical your paperwork, and then they give you another sticker on this side that has like blood, urine, hearing, vision, ears something, interview, like, and something else. But 2 of the things you are like, if something's wrong with one, then you have to take this. But then, you know, you have that. And then you're like going through getting everything checked. Then like in the middle of like the first couple people doing it, once everyone is done being processed through medical, like their initial paperwork, and you all go into this room and you do a briefing on like sexual harassment, and like you fill out this paperwork just to kind of like to make sure it's what you filled out with your recruiter is correct. And so you do all of that. They have you breathe through a breathalyzer, and then you go off and finish your vision, urine, blood, all of that. So there's no, like, you didn't have to do them in order. It was kind of like wherever they sent you, and like wherever was like getting it through. So I got my blood drawn, then I had my eyes done, and then I had my ears, and then my hearing, and then my urine, and then I met with the doctor for the interview. So all of that stuff was like not scary. The urine, the stall is open, you are peeing in front of them, other people are gonna see you, but sweetie, I've heard boot camp is crazy. It's a lot worse. So you're gonna be showering in front of everybody, so get ready to be, if that makes you uncomfortable, get ready to be so much more uncomfortable. But so then we go in like this back room, and we're all waiting for like interviews with the doctor. So everyone has their interview. So there were 9 of us. 3 of them got disqualified, all temporarily, none of them like for forever. And So then they split us in a group of 4 and then a group of 5, because by this point, so we got at the facility like right around like 5:45, right? Like 6 a.m. By the time like we did all of that, it was like 12:30. So the girls went off at 8, and then they had us, and then you like strip down to your bra and underwear. For me, they told me a wired bra with a clasp in the back, so I wore that. And then for underwear, they say granny panties. I wore boy shorts. I'm pretty sure you just wear something modest, it doesn't really matter, you know. So whatever, like that was fine. And then they weigh you, take measurements, measure your tattoos, all of that stuff. And then that's when you do the duck walk and you do the weird like bends and like movements or whatever. And then after that, you go in with the doctor one-on-one and you strip down completely naked and they check and all of that stuff. And then if you pass all of that and you're good through and through, then you take your medical papers. The doctor will say congratulations. You take your paperwork up to the front. Then they tell you, okay, take this back to your liaison. You take it back, take whatever to your liaison. You check in. They'll have you like either you go in right away or like you sit down and wait. And then for me, I had to like wait for like a couple of people ahead of me. And then I went and sat down with the counselor, and he's like, all right. He's like, congratulations. He's like, how soon do you want to leave? And I was like, as soon as I can. And so he like prints out this first job. He's like looking at them, prints out this first job. He's like, okay, OS, operations specialist. And I was like, I looked at it, I liked it. I was like, okay, but like what else is there? And then he gives me, what is it? He printed out 2 of them. He printed out, STG, sonar technician service. And so he printed out that one. He's like, this is basically the same thing, just for like underwater. I'm like, okay. And then he was like, electrician or aviation mechanic. And I was like, okay. And then he's like, I have a corpsman. The corpsman was for January of 2020. And then I think the mechanic was like in September, and the electrician was in August. And then I got OS. So my rate, my MOS is OS, operations specialist. Basically what that does, it's like communications. It's like you talk on the radio, you figure out if like they're friendly or foe, like air traffic controller kind of thing. Basically that's literally what it says. So I got OS, and he was like, okay, I have OS, I have one for female in July. And I was like, okay. He's like, the week of the 12th. And I was like, mind you, it was June 27th. Like, what? So literally, he's like, July 10th. And I was like, okay, I'll take it. And so he's like, okay. So he sent me back out. He typed up my contract, and he's like, okay, go up to the front. Your contract's ready. And I was like, okay. And so they sent me back up to the front. They sent me to do fingerprints for like, they do it for the FBI. They put all 10 fingerprints into the system. And you go, and they go over your contract with you. They print it out, take your fingerprints, and then, you know, they get it all ready. Okay, go back, check up in the front. You go back in the front. Then you're like, hey, go sit in this room with the TVs. And then you're waiting there, and then you swear in. And I didn't even know that I was swearing in when I swore in. They took us into like this room. She's like, okay, I'm gonna show you how to stand at attention, parade rest. Came in, they were like attention, and then parade rest, and then raise your right hand, repeat after me. Did all of that, swore in. Then she took our picture, printed out our contracts, went back to our liaison, signed a couple more papers, just all paperwork. And then I got the bag with, it came with like this, like the folder. In the folder, a t-shirt, a bottle, a sticker for like my parents' cards. It was like proud parent of a sailor or whatever. And then this thing came in it. So I've been like marking it up. I went over it with like my recruiter, like, so like if you want to volunteer for a job at boot camp. But yeah, so my MEPS wasn't too bad. Like everything was kind of easy. It was just like long lines and like waiting, and it was just a lot of waiting. And I think like, you know, everyone like makes it like more like nerve-wracking than it really is, like than it really needs to be, honestly. It wasn't bad at all, and I had a fine time with it, so yeah. But that was, like I said, I got a really quick turnaround date for my shipping date. Like I said, I went up June 27th, and my shipping date is July 10th. So just kind of like let that sink in. It was literally 2 weeks. It's literally 2 weeks. Like, what, that's 10, 12, 13 days. It's a 13-day turnaround. So, yeah. So I leave for boot camp on Tuesday. And tomorrow's the 4th of July. I'm kind of nervous. My contract that I signed is for 4 years with a 1-year extension, and for school, and then 4 years in the reserves, but really, you know, so, yep, and I have all my paperwork and everything, and yeah, but I don't know, if you guys have any, like, questions about, like, MEPS, like, I guess leave it down below, and I'll try to, like, answer everything, because I know, like, before I was going, and, like, the other girl that my recruiter's working with, like, we were, like, looking at all kinds of videos, and while I was there, I realized, like, MEPS is, like, it was really, like, nothing like what I had seen on most of the videos, but also mine's San Jose, California. So I hadn't seen any from California, so I don't know. I hope this helps you guys and, like, kind of calms you down. Like, MEPS isn't really anything that's scary, and if you know you got it, then you got it. So, I wish you all luck, and I will definitely have a video in 2 months after I hopefully graduate boot camp. But, yeah. That's it. Alright. Good luck, and I hope you guys get a job you like, because it's important. Okay. Bye.